Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Inshallah Azza wa Jal, continuing the topic, questions and answers about Islamic veil, Islamic parda. Just before I go into the topics, the first topic inshallah I'll be discussing, looking at the person one intends to marry. As we come across in nowadays society, youngsters are communicating on social media, and this ishki mijazi, the love that gets created by shaitan. And there's the ulama have mentioned that whenever you search for a woman, a pious woman, you should look at her deen. Some people look at the beauty, some look at the wealth and the family background as well as that, but you should look at a woman for her deen, inshallah. And the question here it mentions, is man allowed to look at a woman he intends to marry? The answer for this, yes, both may see each other. Sadur Sharia Badut Tariqa Alama Maulana Mufti Muhammad Amjad Ali Azmi alayhi rahmatullahi al-qawi says, amongst the cases in which it is permissible for a man and woman to see each other, one scenario is when a man intends to marry a woman. So he has to be having that intention, I am marrying this woman. Looking at her with this intention is permissible, because a hadith states, when you intend to marry someone, take a look at her, for this causes constant love in between them. Similarly, a woman may take a look at the man who has proposed to her, even if there is a possibility of lust. However, both man and woman must have the sole intention to follow this hadith. The next question it mentions here, what can a man and woman do if it is not possible for them to see each other? The answer is, explaining a possible option in this situation, Mufti Muhammad Amjad Ali Azmi alayhi rahmatullahi qawi wrote, if it is not possible for him to see the woman he intends to marry, as it is the custom these days, if a man is interested in marrying a woman, then her family nowadays do not allow him to see her under any circumstances, i.e., they observe a more stricter veil between the two than between her and any other man. In this case, he should send a woman to see the potential bride in brackets, so that she can return to him and describe her appearance, meaning features, etc., so that he is content with her face and appearance. So I know we come across, nowadays we see that colleges, universities, the situation that's occurring, sometimes young couples want to marry each other, and then they're already freely in colleges and universities, but when it comes to home, the parents are more restricted, and they say, no, you can't see each other, but they're seeing each other anyway. Even on social media, they're on the phones and chatting away. We have to do things halal way, and we have to understand our youngsters, and in this day and age it's very difficult to follow the rules and regulations of the religion, as obviously it's the imposed by Satan, all these wrong things that are happening, and more better what is happening around us. So moving forward, my dear Islam brothers, can a male doctor look at and touch a female patient? So this could be in any environment. It could be in the hospital, it could be a healthcare worker, it could be a person visiting a home looking after an elderly or male man. So can a male doctor look at and touch a female patient is the question. The answer for this, if a female doctor is not available, then this is permissible in case of compulsion. Shadu Sharia Badut Tariqa Alama Maulana Mufti Muhammad Amjad Ali Azmi alayhi rahmatullahi qawi says, one scenario in which it may be necessary for a man to look at a non-mahram woman is her illness. He may need to see certain body parts of an ill woman for treatment. In fact, he may need to touch her, e.g., touching her hand to check her pulse, or touching her abdominal area if there is a doubt of internal swelling, or looking at an abscess are permissible in such situations. He is allowed to look at the affected area and, if necessary, touch the area, but only as much as is needed. This is permissible only when a female doctor is unavailable to perform the medical treatment. Otherwise, women should be taught methods of medical treatment so that they may work in such circumstances, because their looking at other women is not bad as is the looking or touching of men. Midwives are available in most areas to check any abdominal swelling. If midwives are available, then there is no need for a man to check. Even in the case where a male doctor is allowed to look at a woman, it is essential that only the required part of the body is exposed, and the rest of the body must remain concealed so that he cannot see it. If merely looking is necessary, then touching is not permissible by Sharia. Remember, touching is worse than looking. So this is advice to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Whenever you visit the hospital, whenever it's more or less majority are female nurses who extract blood, in these cases as well, obviously it's mentioned that if the female doctor is not available for the female, and then male can extract the blood, no problem. But if there's someone available, then you don't request it, and this is why we get a bit shy sometimes. But our iman is that we should request. We shouldn't be shy of these matters. We should request a female doctor if needed, or a male doctor if needed for a man. So moving forward, my dear Islamic brothers, last question, then I'll finish off. Men looking at female clothing. Okay, obviously in the society we're seeing a lot of people, there's masculine styles of wearing clothes. A lot of youngsters, when they go to school, the uniform is like that as well. That is easily, we see in colleges and universities, when they dress like this inappropriately, then for man, he looks at the woman lustfully, which he needs to be very careful and safeguard his iman. And if such scenarios do approach him, then he should recite istighfar and make tawbah constantly, insha'Allah ta'ala. So the question here, if a woman has covered her entire body in a thick burqa, is it then permissible for other men to look at her? So the answer is, there is no harm in looking at her. However, if looking at her clothing arouses lust in any man, then he is not allowed to look at them, because looking lustfully is definitely a sin. This issue is explained thoroughly in Bahari Shariat. If a non-mahrim woman is wearing very thick clothes which totally conceal the color of her skin, etc., then it is permissible for a man to look at her. In this case, he would be looking at her clothes and not her body. This is allowed only if her clothes are not tight. If they are tight and reveal her body shapes, such as tight trousers which reveal all the shapes of her shins and thighs, then it is not permissible for a man to look at her. Similarly, some women wear thin clothes, such as thin see-through muslin made headscarf that reveal their hair, the blackness of their hair, their necks or ears. Some wear very thin see-through outfits, or some wear such shirts which have small spaces in between, which completely reveal their stomach and backs. Looking at women in any of these states is haram, and it is also haram for a woman to wear such clothes in such situations. For further details, information about the rules of sitr, please study Bahari Shariat Volume 1, Part 3, page 478 to 486, and Part 16, page 85 to 91, published by Maktabatul Madina. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.